All of us like to grumble and complain about things from time to time. Maybe we complain about the heat here, during the summer months. We complain about the high cost of gas. We grumble about the neighbor, who doesn't take care of his children. We grumble about the family member who's uncooperative and maybe a little bit different, and so on. There are lots of things that we can complain about. Now, some of our complaints are simply expressions of frustration with the way things are, right? There's nothing wrong with being frustrated with certain things. But oftentimes our complaints are pretty petty compared to the bigger picture of things. Our complaining can prevent us from really recognizing the good things that are also part of our lives. The Hebrew people wandering through the desert were known to be complainers. That's the one characteristic that kind of stands out in the Old Testament story of the Exodus. They had recently escaped from slavery and certain death in Egypt when they started to grumble against Moses right away on their journey through the desert. Did you ever read about any one of them saying to Moses, "Gee, thanks for freeing us from slavery"? Not once. Did any of them express excitement about the fact that they were going into this land flowing with milk and honey that God had promised? No. They did just once. They complained about life in the desert. Listen to how they expressed their frustration. Would that we had died at the Lord's hand in the land of Egypt, as we sat by our flesh pots and ate our fill of milk. But you had to lead us into this desert to make the whole community die of famine. Talk about lack of gratitude. They forgot about the drudgery and what life was like as they were slaves in Egypt. They forgot the wonders that God had performed against Pharaoh in order to force his hand to release the slaves. They forgot how Moses, with God's help, parted the Red Sea so they could pass through and escape death at the hands of the Egyptian army. They forgot about all the good things that God had done to provide for them. Interestingly enough, God demonstrates his patience with these people. He sends them quail to eat and manna as food from heaven. Later, he will give them water from a rock. He will comfort them time and time again and demonstrate that he is always with them, even in the more difficult situations. There will be times when God will grow weary of their complaining, however, and he will punish them. But in the end, God always offers comfort and assurance. Eventually, he will lead them into a land that is flowing with milk and honey. We can just simply look at this passage today and maybe use it to ask ourselves some questions. Do we recognize just how good God is to us? How often do we overlook our blessings and we complain about life when it's not going our way? How often do we grumble under our breath instead of thanking God for his blessings? Are we people of gratitude or are we complainers? I think we have to remember that our struggles and our difficulties, whatever they may be, are temporary. And in the end, Christ has saved us from death and ensured for us eternal life. What could be better than that? So as we receive this Eucharist today, we recognize the Lord giving himself to us, bread from heaven. Let's say thank you for that. And let us ask him for the grace to accept whatever small things burden us, so that we will always be known for our gratitude and not for our complaining.